brothers and sisters of this small planet. When your mind is a little bit disturbed, take deep breathing.
Richard, you've been, as I think many of us know, a friend of His Holiness for I think more than 40 years now, if I got that right. How would you describe your friendship with His Holiness?
I'm always a little bit thrown off when someone says friend of, because it's almost like expecting too much. But I of course we're friends, but I prefer to be a student of. And as a student of 40-something years at this point. But from the Tibetan point of view, they very much, they talk about the guru or the lama or whatever, they prefer to be called the spiritual friend. There's a certain sense that then we're all in this together. And we can all be each other's spiritual friend as we follow ourselves along this journey of life.
This film means a great deal to me, and I saw it, the first kind of edition, and of course I was in tears because you see His Holiness speaking to you directly, and it's really moving. You will all experience this. And then I'm very happy to be here in Switzerland. Switzerland is such a wonderful country, and then there are many Tibetans who live here. Switzerland was the first country that opened its doors to the Tibetan refugees. When we left our country, when our country was occupied by the Chinese,
in the presence of His Holiness, how would you describe what makes him special? Is it just a
Well, His Holiness has a childlike quality. And he's completely unpretentious. And you feel this joy, a bubble of joy around him. Simplicity. At the same time, he's probably the greatest scholar of his generation. So he has this incredible mix of childlike purity and joy. At the same time, his mind is so precise and so wise. In my lifetime, there's no one to compare to His Holiness.
This is fascinating, and what's fascinating as well is just kind of feel like you're in the presence of His Holiness tonight watching this film, or at least as close as it gets. At least that's how I felt when I watched it.
The very purpose of our life is happiness, joyfulness.
These three people right here, these three lovely people, made this movie with the help of this wonderful gentleman over here. And I heard about this film for many years, and Philip and Barbara and Manuel came to me about 6 months ago, and they said, "Would you look at our film?" And I said, "I would be delighted." And I saw the film, and I was very moved by it. And my wife says, "I have too many ideas." So I said, "I have a few ideas of maybe we can try some other things and maybe make it a little longer and let it breathe a little more." And they were open to that. And so the first call I made then was to my friend Oren Moverman, who we've made now 6 movies together. As a writer, director, producer. And we set to work. And they were still working in Zurich, and we set up an office in New York. And really started to look at it almost frame by frame. And you'll see the outcome of that. And this team worked really well together. And we really respected each other. And I think under the gaze of His Holiness, which you'll experience here, there's some unique footage of His Holiness that will never happen again. And to experience as close as you can to being in a singular conversation with His Holiness, directly into his mind, and making eye contact with him. This is as close as you will ever get to that private audience. So, we're deeply proud to share this with all of you. I'm looking at the audience here, and I'm thinking, man, they see this movie. And maybe there's this other kind of energy that's generated in this group. And how many people do you think are here?
Good question. How many people are here? 600 maybe?
750 people who are all incredible, beautiful people to begin with. But now, after this film, maybe there's a whole nother level of possibility that we all kind of vibrate together. And we carry that back to our families, and our friends, and our communities, and our countries, and our planet. And this is how we change the world.
It's wonderful to be here, so thank you.
If you have inner peace, then you achieve happy life.
Give a big round of applause. The filmmaker has